emergency at the airport. Passengers ditching cars to walk, weather causing major problems, hazardous travel on both coasts, and shoppers on a mission on what's expected to be the busiest shopping day of the year. Where to snap up last-minute bargains before you hit the roads, along with a record number of travelers.
Cruise ship collision. Look at this shocking moment caught on camera. Passengers injured when they were rocked by the impact.
Oh my God. When the water came on board, that's when people really thought that we were in real trouble.
The cruise company placing blame this morning.
Impeachment questions, lawmakers leaving Washington in limbo over the timing of a possible Senate trial. Plus, the president takes aim at that Christian magazine, calling for him to be removed from office.
Missing mom arrest. A woman facing charges after a body is found in her car. Is it a bizarre case of baby snatching?
We did recover an infant female child.
The latest from police on the case.
And highway drama.
I need to go to fire extinguisher.
Police fighting flames and the clock to try to save a man trapped in his car.
We might have to break your leg, bro. I'm sorry.
No.
What happened next?
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Hey, good morning. Happy almost Christmas. We're going to begin here with the Mad Dash this holiday weekend on the roads, in the air, and at the mall. This is Panic Saturday, not such a nice name, with huge crowds of shoppers expected at brick and mortar stores for the last minute scramble for Christmas gifts.
It depends on how you feel about procrastinating, right?
Yeah.
A record number of drivers expected to take the roads, headed for holiday destinations, as million more Americans take to the skies in two of the busiest days for flyers this holiday season, back to back yesterday and then again today.
And then, of course, in the middle of it all, we are tracking two storm systems this holiday weekend. Record rain in Seattle, leading to reported landslides and road closures. So let's go right to Rob, who's tracking it all. And Rob, how much of a threat does this weather pose for holiday travelers?
Well, with the rain is still ongoing across parts of the Northwest. They had 3¼ inches in Seattle. That is the 5th wettest day on record, and it was a record setter that broke a record of over 100 years yesterday. Look at that guy, just trying to get around here in Bellevue, Washington, just outside of Seattle. And look at this landslide in Renton, Washington. Matter of fact, the Amtrak lines between Portland and Seattle were shut down because of a landslide there. All right, here we go. Atmospheric river. There's a tropical component to this, so that's why the rain is so heavy. It slides a little farther to the south today, getting into San Francisco by tomorrow morning. Some snows in the mountains as well, and all getting into Los Angeles too by the time we get to Monday. So all along I-5, that's going to be an issue. I-10 in the southeast, we've got a pretty significant system that's developing here in the Gulf. Heavy rain with some wind. Panama City up through Pensacola, Jacksonville, into Atlanta, I-75, I-85 through tomorrow afternoon into Monday morning as well. So two significant storms as folks get around for the holidays. Wait, over to you.
All right, Rob, we'll be watching and check back with you soon. More than 3 million passengers took to the skies Friday to start their getaways in what was the busiest air travel day this holiday. Airports across the country bracing for nearly as many this morning. ABC's Stephanie Ramos is at New York's LaGuardia Airport with a mad dash to those holiday destinations. Stephanie, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, it's pretty busy here at LaGuardia Airport. No crazy lines just yet, but plenty of people trying to make their flight. And already we've seen a number of cancellations and delays across the country. And the busy holiday travel season is just getting started, but it is only going to get busier. More than 40 million people are expected to travel between now and New Year's Day. Make sure you pack some patience, holiday spirit, and plan ahead for a record-breaking travel weekend. Check out this gridlock at LAX. Travelers jumping out of their rideshares early, opting to walk to their terminals.
Well, I ditched my Uber, and because they weren't moving, I was able to get my bag out of the trunk, and I just walked from the entrance ramp all the way here.
Long lines building up at some of the nation's busiest airports. Millions of people are expected to take to the skies, rails, and roads this holiday season. TSA says nearly 42 million passengers will travel through security screening checkpoints nationwide through the holidays.
You just need to have just a little bit more time built in so you're not as anxious as you might be if it's a last-minute adventure.
According to AAA, more than 100 million people are expected to hit the roads as gas prices are expected to drop before the new year. The worst traffic day is expected to be the day after Christmas, but tomorrow will be the busiest day for flyers trying to get home before the holiday.
Some of our flights will be about 85 to 90% full during this holiday travel.
And look, I know you've heard this before. Be here early, 2 hours early for a domestic flight, 3 hours early for an international flight. Follow that advice. There are also plenty of apps out there that can help you, remind you to get to leave where you are in order to make your flight on time. You don't want to be that person racing to the gate, crying baby in one hand, carry-on the other. Trust me. It's not fun. Be here early. Back over to you.
Good advice, Stephanie. Yeah, and definitely pack your patience. Well, time is ticking away for shoppers waiting for the last minute to grab those holiday gifts, and retailers are hoping that will turn into big sales this Panic Saturday. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez is at the Grove in Los Angeles with the surge brick and mortar stores are expecting. Good morning, Marcy.
Hey, Eva, good morning. You can see they are all decked out for Christmas here, but for a lot of people, it still doesn't feel like the holiday season without that annual tradition of scrambling at the last minute to find those perfect gifts. It's the most wonderful time of the year, unless you're a holiday shopping procrastinator.
It just is nerve-wracking whether or not when you leave it to the last minute.
Heidi Monroe is among the nearly 148 million last-minute shoppers expected to rush into stores and fill up their online shopping carts today for what's known as Panic Saturday or Super Saturday, the start of the weekend before Christmas, which this year also falls a day before the beginning of Hanukkah, beating out Black Friday as the busiest shopping day of the year.
I'm panicking because I don't think I'll make it in time to where I need to because I'm shopping for myself.
Many stores like JCPenney and Macy's trying to help ease some of that stress, offering extended hours. Kohl's staying open straight through 6 p.m. Christmas Eve. And while experts say the overall deals may not be as good as Black Friday, you can expect to find discounts on clothing and toys. Walmart and Target advertising up to 50% off some of those wish list items. A little incentive for people like Monroe scrambling to put presents under the tree and now rethinking their shopping strategies.
I would not have waited this long. Next year, I'll be better, hopefully.
Okay, but until then, some tips for everyone heading here to the Grove and other shopping centers across the country today. You want to come organized with a list, and if you can, get there right when the stores open. You have a better chance of finding those gifts you're looking for before they sell out. Dan.
Marcy, quick tip for you. If you're really running out of time on Christmas Eve, go to 7-Eleven, get a 6-pack and a koozie. People love it. Always works.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Always a winner.
You heard it here. Marcy, thank you very much. We're going to turn now to that cruise ship collision. The Carnival Glory is back at sea this morning after being damaged while trying to dock on the island of Cozumel. This morning, we're hearing from the people who were on board that ship during the crash, and ABC's Diane Macedo is right here with more. Diane, good morning to you.
Dan, good morning. So Carnival says this was technically an allision because one of the ships involved in the crash wasn't even moving. Now we're learning more about what caused it.
It was really surreal.
We felt the crunch, the crush, we felt the shake.
And all of a sudden you just see them start crashing in.
This morning we're learning more about what caused 2 Carnival cruise ships to collide off the coast of Mexico. The captain of the Carnival Glory now says a spontaneous wind gust and strong current may be to blame.
Oh my God, we hit that ship.
Cell phone footage shows the moment of impact as the collision sent passengers to the floor. Some passengers aboard the Glory now say they were doubly scared as they watched their boat near a second collision with another ship.
After we hit the other Carnival cruise line, our ship was still in motion and still kept on going over to what I believe the Royal Caribbean.
The Carnival Glory was attempting to dock in Cozumel when it rammed into the lower level of the already docked Carnival Legend.
Very loud, like the metal just bang, you didn't know, and water, when the water came on board, that's when people really thought that we were in real trouble.
Photos of the crash show a demolished deck, windows shattered, and floors of the ship totally crumbled and ripped apart. Carnival says 6 people were injured, but none seriously. The captain of the Carnival Glory now says in a letter to the guests on board, the ship has been inspected by the required authorities and there are no issues that impact our ability to sail safely back to New Orleans.
And the captain also said in that letter that each stateroom will receive a $100 onboard credit. The company says the Legend, the other ship involved, will also continue on with its schedule as planned. The ship must go on.
The Legend. It seems like a gentle
New
way
vocabulary
to...
word,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Me neither.
Yeah. All right, Diane, thank you so much. Appreciate it. We want to turn now to new developments in the stabbing death of a Barnard College student. Police are asking for the public's help now, locating a teenager wanted in connection with the case. ABC's Zachary Keish is joining us with more on that story. Zachary, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. It's been more than a week since that Barnard College freshman was murdered in a city park, and this morning police have released these new pictures of a 14-year-old boy wanted in connection to the killing of 18-year-old Tessa Majors. Investigators say up to 3 young teenagers were involved in that deadly robbery inside this Manhattan park. Police say Majors fought back, even biting one of the attackers before she staggered up a steep staircase and later died. A 13-year-old boy has been arrested and charged with felony murder, and police say he implicated himself and 2 friends in the crime. Police did question a different 14-year-old last week, but he has been released. Authorities have been adamant that detectives question the teenagers with their guardians or lawyers present. Tessa Majors will be laid to rest today in her hometown of Charlottesville, Virginia. Eva?
Thinking of her family and friends today. Well, now to the impeachment showdown. House Democrats and Senate Republicans leaving some uncertainty on the table as they head home for the holiday recess. ABC's Rachel Scott is in West Palm Beach, where the president has arrived to celebrate his holiday. Rachel, good morning.
Eva, good morning. That's right. Democrats and the White House are now bracing for an impeachment trial, but still no date has been set. The president and lawmakers leaving Washington for the holidays still unsure about how the beginning of next year will all play out.
President Trump arriving in Florida overnight for the holidays as the timeline and scope of an impeachment trial hangs in limbo. Just days after the House voted to impeach the president, he accepted this invitation from Speaker Nancy Pelosi to deliver the State of the Union address on February 4th. But Pelosi still hasn't decided on when to send articles of impeachment over to the Senate. And the timing of the president's address to the nation could overlap with the Senate trial. President Trump locked in a battle over impeachment, now taking on a Christian magazine that published this op-ed calling for his removal from office. Christianity Today editor-in-chief Mark Galley writing, "The president is a near-perfect example of a human being who was morally lost and confused." The president firing back, calling the magazine far left, writing, "No president has ever done what I have done for evangelicals or religion itself." The son of Billy Graham said his father, who founded the magazine, would be very disappointed by the editorial. But Democrats hoping to take on the president in 2020, pointing out the rare rebuke comes from a corner of the president's base.
A lot of people who are maybe from a traditionally conservative place politically are also thinking about the responsibility we have to take care of one another.
Out a religious publication basically in opposition to him and say, enough is enough. This isn't the decent thing to do.
And even though the date is up in the air, the White House has already started preparing. A top lawyer touring the Senate chamber where that impeachment trial would take place. Dan?
Rachel Scott, thank you very much. We appreciate it. In Texas, meanwhile, a grand jury has indicted a former police officer for murder in the shooting of a woman in a home in Fort Worth last October. Aaron Dean is accused of shooting and killing 28-year-old Tatiana Jefferson while she was playing video games with her nephew inside her mother's house. The officer allegedly never identified himself. Jefferson's nephew told authorities that his aunt heard the officer outside and picked up her gun, which police say she had the right to do.
The Wisconsin governor has denied a pardon request from Brendan Dassey, convicted of rape and murder when he was a teenager, whose story was documented in the 2015 Netflix series Making a Murderer. Dassey, who is now 30, was 16 when he confessed to joining his uncle in the 2005 rape and murder of photographer Teresa Halbach. Dassey, in his pardon request, now stating that he is innocent and wants to go home. His lawyers vowing to continue to work for his release.
Now to charges filed against an American diplomat's wife accused of dangerous driving in a crash that killed a British teen. Those charges could set up a fight over extradition. ABC's Jennifer Eccleston is in London with how that teen's family is reacting to the news. Jennifer, good morning.
Good morning, Eva. Well, it's a day of soaring emotions. Harry Dunn's family calling it a step towards justice, but from the American suspect, sympathy, but defiance.
This morning, the wife of an American diplomat at the center of an investigation into the death of British teenager Harry Dunn, refusing to return to the United Kingdom to face a potential jail sentence.
Can I have a word with you, please? Will you go back to the UK, Mrs. Sakoulas?
Anne Sakoulas seen for the first time last Saturday at her home here in the U.S. In a statement, her lawyer saying her client is devastated by the terrible but unintentional accident, but the potential penalty of 14 years imprisonment is simply not a proportionate response. It follows the decision by UK prosecutors to formally charge the 42-year-old American with causing death by dangerous driving when she fatally struck Dunn on his motorcycle while driving on the wrong side of the road. His grieving parents, outraged that Sakoulas fled the UK, claiming diplomatic immunity. Harry's mother, Charlotte, calling the prosecutor's charge progress towards justice.
It's one huge step towards that promise to Harry.
The family waging a transatlantic campaign on behalf of their son for months, meeting President Trump at the White House in October, but not securing his support. Friday's formal criminal charge, however, could lead to the beginning of extradition proceedings. But overnight, the State Department issuing a pointed statement expressing disappointment with the prosecution's announcement and fear that it will not bring a resolution closer.
UK officials again urging Anne Sakoulas to come back and cooperate with the justice process. Dan?
Thank you very much. Overseas, 3 government-run oil and gas facilities in Syria were attacked overnight in the province of Homs. The Homs oil refinery up in flames after the oil ministry says it was possibly attacked by a drone. The 3 attacks are believed to have been carried out almost simultaneously. Syria has suffered fuel shortages since earlier this year, in part because of sanctions blocking imports.
Switching gears now, let's check in with weather and back with Rob Marciano. Good morning.
Good morning again, guys. Let's show you some of the wave action across the Oregon coastline. This is just north of Newport Beach. You got some of those lava rocks breaking some of the, and a little bit of white Christmas on the coast, I guess there, just that sea foam. Flood alerts still up for much of western Oregon and Washington with the rains coming in there now. Wind alerts posted for northern California and down to southern California as well as this system begins to stretch out. Another couple of inches of rainfall into the coast range, and we could see some river flooding because of that. But down and through Southern California as we go through tomorrow into Monday, that's when we'll see probably another couple of inches of rain. And at the highest elevations, we'll see 1 to 2 feet of snow. All right, there's a choo-choo train. Let's talk about Christmas Eve forecast. You'll see some snows in the Intermountain West, a little bit of lake effect snow, but generally speaking, pretty nice, and maybe some coastal rains here in the Carolinas. As far as white Christmas goes, basically, if you don't have snow outside your house right now, chances are slim you're going to see a white Christmas because I don't see much in the way of snowfall in the next 4 or 5 days. That's checking what's happening nationally. It's time now for a look at your local forecast.
Well, hello and good morning, Washington. Meteorologist Alex Liggett. Hey, Saturday, still going to be on the cool side today. Temperatures below normal. Normal high is 45. We'll reach the lower 40s today. Winter begins, the winter solstice at 11:19 p.m. 49 degrees on your Sunday, so a touch milder. Looking ahead to the next week for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, temperatures, they will be on the mild side, 53 degrees under partly cloudy skies on your Tuesday. Partly cloudy for Christmas Day, dry, high temperatures in the lower 50s.
It's tough to make everybody happy. Some people want a white Christmas, but you don't want to drive through it. But I think most folks are not going to have it, however that makes you feel.
Brace for the hate tweets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Bring it on.
Yeah, the one time people
Rob's fault.
Thank you, Robert. It is not yet Christmas, as we all know, but for Star Wars fans, this weekend is like Christmas, New Year's, and a sighting of Halley's Comet all wrapped up in one. The 9th and final installment of the epic series is now in theaters, and ABC's Janae Norman is here with more on the frenzy. Good morning.
Good morning. Talk about a frenzy. You've seen it?
Yes.
Right? Already? What?
Tomorrow.
Okay, it's on your calendar.
Soon-ish.
It's on your calendar, too. It is a frenzy. I counted one theater that had 26 showings of the movie in a single day. That's because fans are turning out in huge numbers to see the long-awaited finale of the franchise that's meant so much to so many people for so long.
I want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like my father.
After 42 years, it's the end of an era. The final chapter of a story that captured the hearts of millions across the globe, spanning generations.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir, at my friends.
Die-hard fans flocking to theaters to see the rise of Skywalker opening day.